Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing well. I'm okay. I could be better. Still no water, so my laundry and dishes are piling up, and my OCD is like freaking crazy. And I've been able to sponge bath, but yeah, no water is horrible. And yeah, Doug's pretty wiped out too because he had to go get the sand point yesterday and do some other shopping like buying water. And so even doing that, when you get older, like everything takes longer to do. So yeah, I mean, I'm understanding, but I don't think he knows that I am. So um yeah, it doesn't matter because if you're living with somebody with that kind of like vibe, you're gonna get punished for shit you've never even done, so it doesn't matter if you know where I'm coming from with that. Hello, Doug. Hope you slept well. So, anyway, cheers, everybody. Not to be rude. So, yeah, if we get interrupted, I'll just, like I usually do, which might happen because he's resting still, so I don't know how late he was up, but I heard him get up about 4:30, and I've been pretty wide awake since then, so I just got up like sometime after 5, I think like 5:15 or something, and I'm just still wide awake, and I got my exercises done, and I might go down to the creek or the pond and get some water just for like flushing the toilet and that type of thing. So I've been using excess water, like when I wash my hands, I catch it in a bucket and that type of thing so I can flush the toilet. So it isn't like horrible or anything like that. We're still living, clean, but like I brush my teeth and all that. But, it still sucks because I'd like to have just like a nice warm shower. Yeah, people take for granted, even me. I mean, I used to, not for decades, but like when I was a little kid, before the first time I helped my dad, well, my grandpa that babysat me often, um, and we lived with while we were building our second house we lived in. But he would take me with him to work while he was like looking after me when I was about 3 and 4. And he was a plumber. And so I knew like a lot about, that type of construction within a home and stuff. And um, so, yeah, I mean, I knew. And then my dad worked for the water department and helped design the waterworks in Minneapolis. So I kind of always had a big appreciation for what it took to put water through up into a person's house and that type of thing. But even more so when I did it myself. So, yeah, I'm willing to help here too. It's just that, there's only so much I can do by myself. I can't really right now do what needs to be done. I mean, I could if I had to. Sure wouldn't want to. So, I know how Doug feels. I'm putting some lotion on. Um, I think I got a spider bite last week. I had one on my leg and that one went away, but I don't know. Really interesting fact, we never used to have black widows in Minnesota, and they're not supposed to be able to winter through cold environments. Like, I think what I had read was like anything below 30 below. and we get below 30 below here, sometimes 50 or 60 with the wind chill, maybe like really sub-zero. But we have them now, and that's accounted to like shipping and boxes and stuff from like other countries and southern states. And so yeah, we have them here in our state now, and you can identify them. um Black widow will usually have like a diamond shape on their back in white, or a white dot on their back, but not always. Sometimes they're just pure black. So, but yeah. And all spiders are poisonous. Did you know that? I mean, every single one of them. And it's even said like the daddy longleg has more venom in it than, say, like the black widow, only that its teeth, its fangs, aren't as long. So when they bite like aphids or whatever they're going to eat, but a human being, they can't inject enough of the poison into you. But if they had longer fangs, they could. Interesting, huh? So every single spider actually has venom in them. It's just whether or not they can deliver it to a human being or not. So I read that a while back. Quite a while, I think. So, yeah. We have these things here they call fishing spiders. Um, they walk on water. They're about, sometimes they get about that big around, and they actually can walk on water. That's why they call them fishing spiders. So usually I thought because you see them when they're fishing, but I think the reason why I had read is they're actually fishing for little teeny bacteriums in the water. And yeah, a friend of mine and I were fishing one time, and she's like, I don't know if she got a picture of it. She's a really good photographer. Deanne Steffen. She's on my Facebook. We've known each other since teenage years, but yeah, so anyway, we were fishing here some years back, about maybe 10 years, something like that. And we seen one of them. She might have got some footage of that. I know she went through some really hellacious times, like in the last 10, 15 years have been really horrible. So for her, for a lot of us, yeah. But she had, her son died. So, and she found him. He had committed suicide, so it's not something any parent, and both his parents found him. Well, she did first. Or wait, no, I think he did. He did. He's dead now too, the dad. So yeah, she's been through some trauma, heartbreaking stuff. Oh, yeah. Actually, I attribute it to drug related shit, you know, directed at the kids. It's always directed at the kids, whatever is going to screw up the next generation. It was what seems to be available in society. So, anyway, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about today. Nothing in particular. I mean, know what I'm talking about, but cheers. The main thing on my mind is, well, two things, I guess. I'm sure you all are familiar with who Russell Brand is. Tried watching the dude a few times, maybe twice, I don't know. It's like, what a show. I call them baby Masons when they have big channels and they're out there spewing like when they seem like they're anti-establishment, but they're connected with everybody that is, uh, well, like a new Illuminati connected. Like he went out with Katy Perry and that type of like the Alex Joneses types. You know, I never was one. My instincts were right. I mean, he's just being used to try and basically, I think, to try and actually kind of cast shade on the real truthers, like the smaller channels and the ones of us that are communicating in that respect, like through the spirit, which they can't stop. They can only make us look like we're all balled up with this bull crap that they've been pushing, like ancient aliens and that type of thing. Um, so, yeah. And I'm really leery of the people that are pushing that alien crap, too. So, I know what I feel in my heart is that it's contrived in that respect to cover up exactly what happened at the beginning of our existence. And people that definitively, oh, they know, like, this is the way it is. And it wasn't gray hair, it was gray skin. And yeah, okay. According to what language, you know, and according to what language is a fallen angel, a alien. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful little thing when they mix all the lies in with the truth, but our instincts and our hearts will tell us what is true, you know. So just beware of that, or Darth Vader's gonna come and get you. Yeah. Wow. It's like, yeah, when's the last time? I mean, I know I've seen demonistic people. That part I can prove, but for 65 years, I have not seen a alien or any sign of one or any outsider spiritual um, connection with anything that hasn't always been. So I don't know what they're trying to pull or why they're trying to pull it, but maybe to take your mind off of the money that are going towards WARSs, you know? Yeah, most likely. So, I mean, I don't have any bad feelings or wish anybody any harm or anything, but the fact of the matter is there's people out here that are pushing agendas for their own uh, advancements in this world. And if it doesn't seem logical or true, it most likely isn't, you know. But yeah, what's logic got to do with anything? It's just like in science when you can do something over and over again and you know definitively that that's the result of your experiment. And you can prove it because it's tangible, you know. But that doesn't seem to matter to them science community anymore. Mm. I'm listening to Professor Sam Bucknan, how victims soothe themselves after narcissist abuse, and it's compilation about that, and like like people actually believe like a narcissist actually cares about them, or if they break up like they think about them or pine after them. No, if your ex narcissist is in your life for any reason, it's probably so they can kill your ass because they didn't succeed the first time. Yeah, don't deceive yourself. If somebody shows you that they're cruel and evil, that's who the F they are. Damn it. You know, don't be swayed by their bullshit, because that doesn't go away until Judgment Day on the whole world. And that's right up until that day. There's nothing happy and rainbows and fluffy in between all that shit. It is what it is. If you have somebody who shows you demon traits in your life, welcome to hell, you know, because it surely isn't heaven. Yeah, Doug's like, "Oh, it's a beautiful world." I said, "In whose books?" I said, "Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous." I said, "There's breathtaking things to see on this hellacious plane of existence." I said, "So in whose book is this something beautiful?" I mean, I'm not dissing on God's creations at all. I'm dissing on the cruel mindset telling me it's a beautiful fucking world. Yeah, okay, I'm glad you're happy, you know? Am I grateful? Up to a point. Not entirely. I would be a damn liar if I said I'm entirely grateful for everything God's ever put before me. That would be the biggest lie I've ever said. Like these people, oh, and it's either a lesson or a blessing. No, maybe it's just fucking torture and you don't know what you're talking about. But maybe your life is like that. you know, maybe other people's lives aren't like that. Maybe you're cursed because your family is full of vile stuff, and maybe you're cursed by the vile ones because you're not vile. So there's two different sides on this planet. One man's trash is another man's treasure or whatever. you know. I got put in kind of two people sort of put me in a negative mindset, so I'm going to try and get out of that so I don't put it off on all you. Just letting you know what's kind of going on. It's so hard to describe. Um yeah, it really is. I don't know if things like that happen in your life, like they're so multi-layered that you really can't find a plausible description for it because it's too faceted. It's like it's just too much going on to just pinpoint it in words. Okay. Anyway, calamine lotion. Gotta put some more on. This one spot just is driving me crazy. I about ripped my skin off yesterday, itching it. Then I reminded myself, oh yeah, I got stuff for that. It helps. I'm not always one to just be reactive to other people's, like, moods, because if I were, I'd never be in a good mood, but, yeah, it'd be a lot better if, like, my house, physical house, not my physical self, but if my physical house were more in order, I would be in less of a crappy mood, and I'm not really entirely in a bad mood or nothing, but, like that, then things wouldn't bother me as much, but they'd still bother me. So. But yeah, back to that narcissist thing. They don't care. They're not even good actors. And no, they don't fool me. But what else do we have to do, right? I mean, I figure it like this, and I've always said this. That force of evil has been working through people against me no matter where I go. So it doesn't matter where I'm at. And that's not just a negative mindset because I have a thoroughly positive outlook on my future. I just don't know when it's going to start to change, but I do feel a change is coming for the better. Might be because I'm getting closer to dying. I don't know. But I have a feeling that things are going to look up somehow. So, I don't know. And then some days I feel more optimistic and more pessimistic. I can't say I'm really one or the other. I'm usually an optimist, but for knowing that the way the world is, mm, my days are full of pessimism. My future's full of optimism, if that makes sense. Because I'm not going to be stupid enough to be really optimistic around a total depressive, pessimistic um, environment and mindsets and whatever, or just downright freaking ignorant people. I'm not dumb enough to just abide by the day and say, well, that's cool. Yeah, everything's cool. Because no, it's not, you know. So, yeah, hope. I can hope. That's all I can do. I don't know if Jason from Archaics will watch this, but they were talking about different people that in the truther community that are maybe not so truthful, and they mentioned like not that these people in particular aren't truthful, but they mentioned different people that like Nicholson 69 or whatever. These are another what I call the baby Mason channels, like the AMTs and them type of, that's who they be. you know. Anyway, there was somebody they mentioned talking to Adam Green. Um, well, wait till you dig into that one. It'll be called A Waste of Time. And there's another one that was mentioned. Um, mm, Matt LaCroix. And then too, I'd never really understood why Rex Bear from Leak Project wasn't more interested in Jason from Archaic's information, but then too he does and has highlighted what I call the baby Masons. Not that he is one. It's just that a lot of his people that he presents on his show, and I know who they are. I rarely watch them. That's a lot of men and women that fall in that category I'm talking about there. And yeah, they have some good information mixed in with the harmful stuff. That's total malarkey that can be dangerous for other people. But yeah. So anyway, I didn't understand, and I don't understand why some of these bigger channels wouldn't be interested in Jason's information, even like a rabbi. If I were a rabbi and I could see a chronological historian, somebody that spent decades just doing that for that purpose to bring clarity and understanding to the movement of people on this planet, and that would be of great interest to me for my fellow Jews. That's how I would feel about that. Yeah, if I could learn the absolute truth about some things, like a missing 1,000 years, or like time's up type of thing, and they're trying to pretend it's not, but they know it is. you know it's not a small issue. you know um, I don't know, I have a feeling that something good is going to happen today. I don't know what it is yet, but I don't know. See, there goes my optimism, even on a crappy day. No, it's a beautiful day. It is. It's sunny out, and um, there was over in Pine City community page, some lady had gotten a picture of the Northern Lights the night before last, and they were just beautiful. She had enhanced them some, but yeah, they were pretty. They were like what I was talking about, with the swirls of purple and green and yellow and pink, magenta, whatever, all these just beautiful green. Uh, I was going to share them, but I thought, she didn't have it shareable because it was in a group. And I thought, well, I could go check out her page. And I thought, nah, people have seen pictures of them before. It's different when you're actually experiencing it, when you're like right in the middle of it. It's pretty cool. And they still don't definitively understand them. They can say they do, and there's scientists that say they do understand that, but I don't believe they do. You know, it's just like if you're following the science from somebody like Neil deGrasse Tyson, or I've heard it pronounced Grossi, whatever, um, you better be careful. That's all I got to say. Dude's, uh, he's whacked. It's just like I'm thinking about later of listening to Meaning for Life Ministries with Rabbi Simon Jacobson. Has what it says in the scriptures about gender. And I know how the Zionist side of the equation view everything, or even like Buddhist, um, that type, on that type of, like the Baphomet level of the mixture of the whole thing. I'm not on board with all that. You know? So I might listen to it later, but it won't be with an open mind, you know. In this physical sense, you cannot describe the Spirit of God to me in a physical sense. And that's how it's being described. And that's limiting what I believe God is into a flesh situation and combining the male and female energies like that in a fleshly description. From what I understand, God is a spirit and cannot be described in the flesh. Although he came down into man, into the flesh, to be into the world, that is not still the description of what is God. We cannot perceive that. It says that in the scriptures. There's parts in the scriptures that actually say that. So how can you just go how a description of a man or a woman being made in God's image and woman taken from his rib. I rib you not, I kid you not. In other words, a rib, a kid, a joke. Makes you wonder, just the language of the whole thing, you know. Makes me wonder anyway. So, yeah, a kid, a baby goat, a Baphomet. Now that's funny, you know. Why did it repent God to make man? And did he repent on his repenting? Hmm. I didn't see anything in there about that. The last book I read, people were in trouble because they wouldn't listen to the truth. So I don't know that I'm just going by the last book, you know. That's all I can do. No, I think that's funny. Assuming that everybody lives forever and we're eternal beings, then everything's pretty much a damn joke, isn't it? Well, maybe not too funny. Yeah, I don't know if I feel like laughing today, but I'm doing it anyway. I almost cried this morning. I was thinking of my kids. I saw these two little twins, a boy and a girl, at the beach, and they had the biggest laughs on their face. It was just like the most precious picture. It's like, oh, it's so cute. I shared it, but that got me just, it got me, you know. So, how about the first time you ever see your baby smile or laugh or, you know, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I had one that started talking really early. You wouldn't even believe it. And then my second one was more on the average scale. But that first one, yeah. Now he has neurological problems and has trouble talking. So, yeah. So he started early, and then somehow, I don't know, it could be like it's similar to Parkinson's, so sometimes that's like an onset of that even around 40 years old, and that's about when it happened for him. So anyway, might go away. It's possible. Can you imagine really not being able to talk? Uh, or if you can remember when you couldn't talk, you know, what hell, you know. Some people do. Some people have baby memories. I don't know if it would stem from trauma or things being embedded in our mind. Maybe a good memory. I don't know. I don't know. But I have memories of being really little. I just do. Jason from Archaics has a statement he makes often that I do agree with, that I didn't quite agree with at first because I had a super bad head injury and believed that I had an outer body experience. But he says if you're not disconnected from your body and you're back in your body, your soul was never disconnected. I think he's right on that. A near death experience. NDE is just what it is. It's near it, but not. But geez, I'm still not sure. On sometimes I've been on the operating table. I have no clue. I know one time they took my air away too soon and I almost bit the dust right there. But I don't know. Man, my head hurt after that. Got hit in the head with a bat and it just cracked. I have x-rays of it and it's a trip. It's amazing what people can live through. But yeah, I had severe headaches and other troubles for, I mean, my head would almost start bleeding, or it did. I couldn't prove it. Even from hollering, like the pitch of somebody's voice that was really escalated. I mean, super, super loud. Music, not so much, but it would depend because even certain music would sort of get to me too. So, I don't know. Yeah, that kind of went away. When I kicked my ex out, to tell you the truth, then I wasn't around the decibels of the, oh, it was horrific. My head was never healing. But I didn't pay that any mind because I had kind of just lived with it for a couple decades. It was other things that actually pushed me into ending it all. But yeah, the stuff people will endure all in the name of love. It's like I passed around a meme that said, I wish people would stop calling it broken homes when it's like a one-parent family, because, like, for some of us, the brokenness of it was the two-parent family. And once it was the one-parent family, they start to heal, And that's true in some cases, not all of them. And ideally, two-parent homes are what makes the world go around in an ideal situation. But it's not always the best. And I believe that you can have two people that love each other, or one that does. And the dark force will get in there. Maybe it's just really not meant to be. Maybe that's just to show us of the temporariness of all this. Don't know. So, what do you think about aliens? I've asked people this before. I mean, don't be afraid to have an opinion just because my opinion is so strong. If you have like some kind of evidence or experience that would contradict what I'm saying, hey, let me know. I mean, I'm open to hear what somebody has to say. Not total open mind on it, but I can listen to your reasons why you might believe that. But when I have somebody telling me that there's ancient aliens and the CIA buddies and informants are letting you know that, well, are we calling them ancient aliens or the Nephilim? If we're teaching the scriptures, are we teaching aliens or the Nephilim? How could why do you want it to be both? Why does it have to be both? Why can't it be what is written in the scriptures? It's just like the oceans and the layers of the earth. Mankind hasn't even been able to explore that to the fullest. And they're worried about going to Mars. And they can't get through the Kuiper Belt. How do you do that? They can't. They never did. But yeah, there's extraterrestrials. Terra, land. That indicates a connected land. Extra land. Extra terra. If I had a daughter, the baby I lost, I was going to name her. She was murdered. Tara Jane. TJ for short. It's just like my kids. I named them of significance of what needed to be known on this planet right now, biblically through their names: Lucas, Jonah, and Jonathan David. Those are some really important figureheads in the scriptures, you know. So kind of like a physician that didn't act like the physician at first because he was part Jonah, and sort of like Jonathan being King David's best friend. Hopefully that will work, if you know what I mean. Somebody has to be a friend to some really ignorant men. Somebody's got to try, right? Yeah. They're trying all right. And what about them people named Sam? Sam I am. Green eggs and ham. If you know Dr. Zeus. There's two for my Russian friends, Mr. and Mrs. K. Uh, your little girl might like Dr. Zeus. Is it can be a little confusing if you're speaking another language with the rhymes, and sometimes it's not really sensible. Like green eggs and ham was what I was just quoting. Isn't a very practical book. I mean, it's not going to teach, it'll teach colors and rhyming in English, but it's more whimsical. It's more, um, I would call it like a fantasy type. Um, a cat in a big top hat with striped socks and stuff. It's not really realistic, is what I'm trying to say, but they are good books. Some of them got banned from libraries, from what I understand. I think the one I was just quoting out of, I don't know, somehow they saw it as racist or something. I don't know. But they're good books. Yeah. So anyway, Simon, Simon Peter, Peter, Satan entered Peter, Saul became Paul. Well, Saul isn't Paul yet, and he's still out there doing his shenanigans. But just thought I'd let you know that I do know. Just in case you thought I didn't, you know, for a couple people in particular, you know. It isn't self-preservation to have already lost the war and still keep fighting. That's a little bit on the silly side of people, you know. It's like if you take a test, you take a math test, and if you failed it, but you write a A on the paper and go slip it back up on the teacher's desk or something, they already know they gave you a failing grade, but you're just going to keep pretending that you did okay on that test. Right up till the very last day of school, they say, well, you have to repeat this grade again because you got a failing in it. And you're like, no, but I got an A. No, you didn't. You just pretended you did, but you can't pretend your way to Judgment Day. You gotta face it now before that day gets here. And I'm not talking to the people I was just mentioning in particular, just the Saul character himself. So, yeah, but they keep doing it. And what I mean by them is the ones that are on that same wavelength. They're on the same wavelength like you or I are, but they're just like not quite swimming straight, you know, they're just like sporadic, they're all over the place, they're um, using energy in untold ways for the dark force swimming in our ether, you know, and they don't belong there. And if they have any chance to try and influence unsuspecting innocents, yeah, well, that's a problem. I'll just put it to you straight. It's like if my granddaughters hear some of this shit coming out of these people and it dissuades them in any way against what God is trying to talk to their hearts about, you've made a total enemy out of me. And I don't know that it has happened or if it will happen, but you better hope it didn't or won't, you know? It's just like Mr. and Mrs. Satan. It's all in their minds to control human beings. And they juxtapositions within their vessels continuously. It's back and forth, back and forth. They take turns. So you're never going to know. We know it's all from one entity, but you aren't going to know because they compose as the light. And that's how these people that work for that dark force can fool other people. Not that you're being fooled, because I know some of you just are not. And some of you didn't even understand what I just said, and others don't care. So, well, I think I'll get this uploaded. That's probably about it for today. Like I say, I have a feeling something good's gonna happen. If it does, I'll let you know. I don't think it's gonna be any running water, 'cause it's already noon. I don't know, unless he's gonna work at night, which is possible. That would be horrible for me, though, because I've been up for a while. I thought we were going to be getting our schedule kind of like normal, but nothing's never normal. What is that? I have no clue. Except for genders, I know what's normal and all that. And once again, the Spirit of God cannot be described as flesh. And anybody that tells you that it can be is absolutely wrong. It's just like I was just talking about, like the satanic force. It's in their minds, you know. It's not flesh, but it's working through the flesh, you know. Gee, who's conducting that? Well, I know who they are personally, and they know who I am too, because I'm battling them, you know. I'm sticking with the loving approach, but when it comes to my family and friends and loved ones, I'm not being so loving. Maybe. My mind tells me I'm not, but my heart tells me different, if that makes any sense. So, there's my flesh speaking for me, you know. When's the last time you saw an alien? It's all the hoaxes that they've had, like making fake dinosaurs and fake elongated skulls and fake tiny people and all this. When's a person gonna say what's real? You know, what's real is what you can see. Well, what's real is spiritual too, but I'm talking about hoaxes that have been actually um, pushed on people as truth, and then you find out later that it's not. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that, um, excuse me, that the fallen angels aren't a real army. The biggest army on the planet is the American people, the armed American people. Jason had mentioned that. It's like, yeah, they are. There's a lot more than anywhere else on the planet. Otherwise, I know there's countries that would love to come in here and try and take control of us, but that's not going to happen. At least not as far as I can see. Not any time in the near future. Maybe, but I don't think so. We've been under maritime law since 1932, which means martial law, which means that it's legal for them to instill armies on the streets at any time and keep people in their houses under house arrest under martial law. We're already in it. We have been for decades. It's been written in the books a long time ago. So they already got that part covered if people are waiting for anything like that. Could happen at any time. I think they've tried it a couple times just to see how it would go over with the people. I don't know. I wouldn't suggest anybody ever go out on the streets and start any kind of uprising like that. They'd love that. Yeah, they would. Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I think that's about all that's on my mind today. Just saying hello and wanted people to realize from my point of view, they're talking about the fallen angels, the bloodlines that are um, looking at everybody else as slaves on this planet for them. That's who they are. And extra terra doesn't mean outer space or off world. So, ETs. What is a ET, right? Well, uh, they're really demonic, either in a good way or a bad way. That's who they are, you know. But they're not gray, unless that's actually the color of their skin, like you're not brown or tan or red or white, you're, you know. like maybe kind of an ashen color. I had a friend named Carrie that actually was gray, kind of olive coloring, but more gray. So, yeah, she was sort of an alien in a way. All right, everybody, have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Thank you for joining me. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.